phenomenon of reflection in the window.
They march very quickly, don't they? With fast step. It's more like an out-of-town tryout for a Broadway review than it is a military organization, band these days.
I did see some musical instruments there between the two groups of girls.
And another gap.
Now the West Point group is just coming down. A couple of 100 feet from the presidential stand.
Yes, I see the first of them. Dwight Eisenhower once paraded as a West Point cadet for an inauguration in a parade.
Isn't it also true that you once ushered as a Boy Scout?
Oh, I ushered, yes. I didn't march, though.
Here's the military academy.
Wearing their long overcoats with caps and small arms.
While the United States Military Academy Band is members of the United States Military Academy.
14th inauguration for the United States Military Academy Band.
Now marching tall and smart in a handsome full-dress blue uniform are the 625th midshipmen from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. The Canadians who have marched in every inaugural parade since 1873 are rightfully proud of their precision marching. In this area, as in other areas, they wage a friendly, competitive rival with their brothers at the West Point. The men marching in today's inaugural parade will soon take their place in our modern Navy, the most powerful assemblage of sea power in the history of the world. This power has varied itself the Navy. The Navy, of course, is primarily designed to control the sea, which covers 70% of the globe.
Colors dip, eyes left as the cadets pass the reviewing stand.
The proud and colorful 72-piece Naval Academy Band, formed in 1853, is the oldest in the Navy.
In a moment, hailed to the chief by the Naval Academy Band.
Officer in charge, Lieutenant Commander Matthew Corey. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the United States Navy Academy.
I said hail to the chief. I should have said ruffles and flourishes. Every one of the military bands will play ruffles and flourishes to the chief executive as they pass the reviewing stand. Of course, the Navy band then swung into Anchors Away, and we are going to pause for station identification. The Navy blue uniform midshipmen have passed by. Now here come the cadets from the United States Air Force Academy in their lighter blue uniforms, marching just as smartly. Their eyes also turned left toward the reviewing stand and the President of the United States.
Chief Warrant Officer Bandmaster William A. Broadwell leads the 35-piece Coast Guard Band, which is taking part in a
Secretary of Defense McNamara watching.
It also marched in the 1957.
See those reflections still? Those reflections come from the bullet-resistant glass in front of the President and the members of the Cabinet.
The band since 1946. band is playing International Expedition, Ship Marching, Homecoming, State Funeral.
And the next band is the Coast Guard Academy.
As the body of the late President John F. Kennedy was taken from the Capitol Assembly. In 1954, the band performed in the launching of the world's first nuclear-powered submarine, the USS Nautilus at Boston, Connecticut. And now the United States Coast Guard Academy colors.
Must be the only military unit left in the world that wears fatigues.
Hey. Some things don't change, I'm glad to see.
If you'd ever worn fatigues, you wouldn't be glad.
Oh, how about those spiral ones? The military part of the parade. Shorter this year than usual. Sometimes the parade has been almost exclusively, but not quite military. We've seen the West Point cadets, the Annapolis midshipmen, the Air Force cadets, now the Coast Guard cadets.
Well, the chairman of the parade deliberately this year chose not to have any hardware. I think they've had missiles and satellites and one thing or another in past parades. This year he called it a ceremonial military display. Reflection to the Coast Guard Academy in the window in front of the president.
The Merchant Marine Academy will be along too in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, approaching your view is the United States Merchant Marine Academy Company. There are 3 battalions of cadets from the Merchant Marine Academy marching today.
We can't tell when the
unit is led by Cadet Commander Franklin Menster of Redstone, Arkansas. This is the 5th inaugural parade in which these cadets of the Merchant Marine Academy have taken part, and 2 additions to their uniforms have been made for the occasion. A blue sash has been added to all uniforms, the name of McClintock Blue Sash in honor of Rear Admiral Gordon McClintock and Academy Superintendent. Also, cadet officers marching today are wearing white velvet sword, cross, belts, and symbols of their rank. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Merchant Marine Academy. Marching between 2nd and 3rd battalions from the Merchant Marine Academy is the Academy's color guard. And for the first time in the history of the inaugural parade, the Academy's regimental battle standard is being carried. The Academy is the only federal academy privileged to carry its own that battle standard and shoot pointers when into war zones in World War II while still in training. The number 210 of the standard commemorates the number of cadets killed at sea during the war.
Three battalions of cadets from the United States Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. And that ends another division of this inaugural parade. The next division to be led by the United States Army Field Band. Not the United States Army Band, but the Field Band, if the order is followed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we beg your indulgence again for everyone to be seated so everyone has an equal chance to view. Thank you.
These are still the Merchant Marine cadets passing by.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Field Band, participating in its 5th consecutive inaugural parade, is being led by Drum Major Sergeant First Class Paul Heskey, 41 of Los Angeles, California.
The Army Field Band just coming into view behind the last battalion of Merchant Marine cadets.
Army dress blue uniform.
Known as the Army's most traveled band. Fairly new, organized only in 1946.
The Army's most traveled band was organized in March of 1946 by then Captain Chester E. Whiting.
82nd Airborne Division, I believe, now passing. Commander of Troops and Staff.
Governor of Texas, John Connally, and his wife. They are not near the White House, however. That was a shot from someplace else in the parade, obviously. Passing the viewing stand are these troops, the airborne troops.
Ladies and gentlemen, approaching you now, the University of Texas Longhorn Band. Preceding the band is the Governor of Texas, John Connally.
Following the airborne troops comes the car bearing Governor Connally, followed by the Texas Longhorn Band, making their second appearance at an inauguration. Always a thrill to hear the military bands stop what they're playing and go into the ruffles and flourishes at the president's stand.
Another band from Texas. First of the floats is coming. This is the Texas float. Its theme is Home of President Johnson. I guess that's the, on the float is the ranch down by the live oaks on the Pedernales River. Somehow didn't get mentioned in today's speech.
Dog on the float, you notice, Harry, the dog's tail wagging. An imitation dog.
A simple ranch house.
The President and the Vice President looking and laughing seemingly at that, what shall I call it, mechanical dog.
There's Governor Karl Rovag of Minnesota, the other important state, because it's the Vice President's home.
Also the home of a distinguished television analyst, commentator, and correspondent, whose name escapes me at the moment, but I think it's Reasoner.
Well, I thought you were going to say Eric Severide. He's sometimes claimed by North Dakota, but actually he's a Minnesotan.
Texas has two bands in the parade because, of course, it's the home state of the President of the United States. I believe Minnesota will be allowed two bands, too. All the other states have been held to one.
I think there are two bands in Minnesota.
You said that, and you're a native son. I don't have to answer for it, Harry. Usually people say, how do you get the bands to come all the way to Washington for an inauguration parade? But the problem is to try to discourage them from coming. They have to pass a pretty stiff test to get in, and lots of bands want to come. Only one band allowed, though, for each state.
I think now we might go down Pennsylvania Avenue to where Paul Niven is stationed. Paul?
And just coming up at 9th and Pennsylvania Avenue is the Georgia segment of the 2nd Division of the parade, headed by Democratic Governor Carl Sanders. The other units in the Georgia segment of the 2nd Division are the Dalton High School Band of Dalton College, Dalton, Georgia, and the Georgia Military Academy Marching Unit from College Park. Behind these units is a very celebrated float, the Lady Bird Special Float, which we will see in a moment. The crowd here about 12 deep at every point along the avenue. The mood of the crowd, one of picnic carnival football game spirit. Not quite perhaps the excitement that there was 4 years ago today, but a crowd which is obviously well disposed not only toward Mr. Johnson and Vice President Humphrey, but to all the participants. Members of the cabinet got a good cheer as they drove by. Now we see the Georgia float, the Lady Bird Special. This is one of the most celebrated floats in the parade. Leading it is a copy of an 1862 locomotive. The train is supposed to represent the Lady Bird Special, the train which took Mrs. Lady Bird Johnson on a successful campaign whistle-stop tour of the South last fall. This 4-car train took 5 months to build and it cost $16,000. This is Paul Niven along the parade route.
We have another hiatus here at the presidential reviewing stand. There is a unit approaching from down the street. That should be the University of Minnesota marching band, if the order is correct. And there it is, the very familiar colors of gold and blue, and the maroon on the banner, which is the old color.
I think you should describe Minnesota exclusively.
Trying to remember, at the university we sometimes said not very complimentary things about the marching band during football games, but I take them all back now.
I think we should pause for a message.
The Minnesota National Guard band below, and following it, another band.
Following the Minnesota National Guard band, this is the big band from Washington, D.C., the one chosen St. John's College High School military band. And as they pass the reviewing stand, we're going to go way down where the parade is being formed and call in Hughes Rod.
Yes, Bob? I'm standing in what is usually the mall between the Capitol and the Washington Monument. Right now, it's more like Band Alley. We've had 15 or 20, possibly as many as 30 bands lined up along here. And one just moved out from us down there, those girls in kilts. I think you can see them beyond the military academy boys. That's the band from Biloxi, Mississippi that Mrs. Johnson was so taken with on her whistle-stop tour down south, and that's why they're here in Washington. This is the Chicago Fire Department band coming by right now with a St. Bernard mascot complete with an LBJ hat on him and a little brandy barrel underneath him. And I notice here that the band even has a bell. I don't know whether these people are going to ring it or not. Are you going to ring your bell now? Oh, thanks very much. Well, I believe this is the last band, Harry, in this section, in this division of the parade. I think this is the second division up altogether. I think we have 6 of them. Chicago Fire Department. You can see them, I think, probably lined up all the way down there to the Capitol. Also on the other side of the mall, a lot of bands that aren't even moving yet. This is Hughes Rudd on the mall. Now back to you in the booth.
That's the Washington, D.C. float home rule. And now comes one of the most interesting parts of the parade, Harry, the Indian division, or contingent, especially big this year.
The Indians have 2 floats, one tree floats, a great heritage and great progress and famous Indians.
And a final Indian float titled Great Progress.
You know, the Indians were brought in from all parts of the country where Indians exist, including Eskimos from Alaska, who are classed as Indians, and a note went out to all of them: it's cold in Washington in January. Be sure to wear very warm clothes. The Eskimos are probably dying of the heat down there on that float. You hear those war whoops with which the Indians are greeting the president. Some Indians on the float doing a dance, a small Indian there. Great heritage, great achievement, great progress, great tradition, some of the themes of the Indian floats in this inaugural parade. And to close the Indian section come the mounted Indians. Somehow they look more natural on horses than they do riding in small cars or on floats. Using English saddles, I see.
We're sure, I guess, that Hughes Rudd is not among the parade there, because we just saw him down to the Capitol. He got off the horse.
Now that the Indians have passed by, the next section should be from the state of Delaware.
Governor Terry of Delaware in his car.
And we hear a band approaching the reviewing stand again from the east.
That's the Delaware National Guard Band, the 287th Army unit.
Part of the composite marching unit, the American Rifles are the oldest unit in the Delaware Army National Guard. Dressed in Revolutionary War uniforms, the blue coats faced with red. Buff breeches and a distinctive light infantry cap. This company strength is formed back in 1776. The name American Rifles was assumed in 1875 when the unit was equipped with rifle weapons.
And some more revolutionary costumes. Those were the American Rifles, dressed in Revolutionary War uniforms, blue coats faced with red, and buff breeches.
The Delaware float, the theme is Delaware, the first state as leader in the Great Society.
The lady who seems to be the leader is wearing earmuffs and very warm gloves. There are two of them now, I see.
Right behind that float is the car carrying Governor Scranton of Pennsylvania.
He stands and salutes the president with his...
Senator Hugh Scott is also in the car with him.
Showing once again that an inauguration day is not a partisan occasion at all from either party.
And then the Cardinal Doherty High School Band from Philadelphia. The largest Catholic high school in the United States.
By the British Royal Regiment of Foot, the Coldstream Guard. This school has a total enrollment of 6,000 at the present time.
Pennsylvania in order of admittance to the Union is New Jersey. There's Governor Richard Hughes of New Jersey passing the President. We're going to pause now for station identification.